It's official. Everything that we were telling you that would happen before Donald Trump took office is happening now. Donald Trump is now going after Letitia James in a massive new investigation. Why? Because she went after him in the first place. Let's break down this bombshell news that just was reported from the New York Times and NBC. Letitia James's office, the Office of the New York Attorney General, received a subpoena from the Department of Justice as part of a new investigation the DOJ is conducting into whether or not Letitia James deprived Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, and get this, the National Rifle Association, the NRA, deprived them of color of law, essentially stripped them of their rights under the law by going after them in multiple civil litigations. Now, let's break this down from a high level for a second. Over the past several years, Letitia James has successfully went after Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, and the National Rifle Association, among other groups in New York. But these three in particular, if you recall, Letitia James secured a multi-hundred-million-dollar verdict against the Trump Organization and Donald Trump himself, along with Trump's children, related to fraud in New York. That verdict was a lawful verdict, was issued, and was won by the New York Attorney General's office. And then you had this other case regarding the National Rifle Association, in which Letitia James's office went after the NRA for a whole host of issues late last year and the year before, and won against the NRA as well. The Attorney General saw dissolution of the NRA as part of that lawsuit, which is commonly referred to as the corporate death penalty, but a judge did strike down those claims. There were mixed results regarding the NRA, but really major wins against Trump and the Trump Organization. And well, now Donald Trump is in office again, and he's going after the people that went after him, the people that he thinks aggrieved him. So New York Attorney General Letitia James, a spokesperson, told NBC News this, quote, "Any weaponization of the justice system should disturb every American. We stand strongly behind our successful litigation against the Trump Organization and the National Rifle Association, and we will continue to stand up for New Yorkers' rights." What we're learning right now is that this lawsuit, essentially, or not this lawsuit, sorry, this investigation is being run out of the United States Attorney's Office for the Northern District of New York. So it's one of the U.S. Attorney's offices in New York, and it's unclear how far along this investigation is and whether or not they have any evidence to substantiate the fact that Letitia James's office caused a deprivation of legal rights under the color of law through these lawsuits. But legal experts across the political spectrum and really across America right now are saying this is just a way for Donald Trump to go after the people he doesn't like, to go after Letitia James, because her office went after him and secured that major verdict against him over $300 million dollars in a disgorgement penalty. That case is still on appeal, and he's going to appeal that all the way up to the United States Supreme Court if he can. But ultimately, it doesn't change the fact that the verdict, the judgment, is lawful. The judgment has withstood legal scrutiny, at least at the trial court level. And well, now it's heading up on appeal. And when it comes to the NRA won some of the claims against Letitia James. I mean, the NRA was not dissolved. But in 2024, Letitia James's office did win a civil fraud case against longtime head of the NRA, Wayne LaPierre. A jury convicted him of diverting millions of dollars from the gun group for his own personal lifestyle. And well, it's clear that the gun lobby is not happy with Letitia James. Donald Trump is not happy with Letitia James. So the gun lobby and Donald Trump are kind of teaming up right now to go after Letitia James. And like I said, we don't know how far along this investigation is and whether or not it's going to bear any fruit. But between this and what we saw with Senator Adam Schiff, how the U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland is allegedly opening up an investigation into allegations of mortgage fraud by Adam Schiff, this is just another effort by the Trump administration to go after its political opponents. And I will say this, it may seem benign right now, right? It's just an investigation into an office of the attorney general, or it's just an investigation into a United States senator for financial related crimes. But the Trump administration since January has been trying to test how far it can go without getting pushback from people across the country. And so this is a major test for Americans. Will Americans stand up and push back against this administration for using the law for weaponizing the Justice Department against a political opponent of the president's? Or will they just kind of let this slide because we have bigger fish to fry? And if we let this slide, will the Trump administration then go after more people? Will go after journalists like myself? We'll see. Now, meanwhile, the Trump administration did secure a pretty big win today in Washington, D.C., and that's regarding contempt. Remember Judge Boasberg? Remember the judge in Maryland who opened up contempt proceedings against Justice Department attorneys for literally defying a court order, flying planes to El Salvador to CCOT, sending undocumented migrants over, despite Judge Boasberg saying, you should not fly planes, you cannot fly planes? Well, he previously entered, saying that there is probable cause that contempt occurred and opened up contempt proceedings. And the Trump administration appealed that to the DC Circuit. And just minutes ago, the three-judge panel uh, actually reversed Judge Boasberg's decision. It's a 2-1 split. You had two Trump appointees in the majority and Obama appointee dissenting. And it overturns Chief Judge James Boasberg's finding of probable cause. And I previously said that he was a judge in Maryland. He's actually the chief judge in Washington, D.C., so my bad on that. But Donald Trump and his allies have been going after Judge Boasberg for a long time, and the three judges wrote separate opinions today to explain their reasonings. One of the judges, Judge Greg Katsas, who is a Trump appointee, wrote, quote, "The district court's order raises troubling questions about judicial control over core executive functions like the conduct of foreign policy and the prosecution of criminal offenses. And it implicates an unsettled issue whether the judiciary may impose criminal contempt for violating injunctions entered without jurisdiction." Now, another judge, Naomi Rayo, the other Trump appointee on the panel, essentially said that Judge Boasberg had no authority to pursue contempt findings because the Supreme Court back in April vacated his underlying ruling against the government, saying that his contempt order was, quote, especially egregious because it implicated senior government officials. His ruling also, quote, constituted an intrusion on the president's foreign affairs authority. Now, the one judge in dissent, Judge Nina Pillard, who's an Obama appointee, wrote that government officials appear to have disobeyed Boasberg's order. Our system of courts cannot long endure if disappointed litigants defy court orders with impunity rather than legally challenge them. That is why willful disobedience of a court order is punishable as criminal contempt. Now, I would expect this to go up to the United States Supreme Court. Obviously, we'll see what the Supreme Court rules, but it's not likely that the Supreme Court will rule any differently given the 6-3 conservative split up at the court. So, two major legal things coming out, one investigation, one court order. I'll provide you updates as we get more information. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Subscribe to support, and I'll see you this evening. Hey folks, Aaron Parnas here. Thank you so much for watching The Parnas Perspective. Please consider subscribing to support our work as we grow this independent news media entity into something that rivals mainstream every single day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.